What's going on, FloCombat? It's your man, old Bo, Duane Finley, back with you. We got James Lynch, we got Hunter Homistek. We are standing out on 7th Avenue here after Bellator NYC. It's 3 o'clock in the morning here in the city. Never sleeps, and we're not going to sleep because that was awesome.
Yeah, we never sleep. That was a crazy card, man.
Absolutely, top to bottom. Even the prelims to a double knockout almost with Mitrione and Chael getting back in the win column. I mean, what was your favorite moment from the night?
I just think the Zach Freeman win, just because this is a guy who didn't have a shot in hell at winning, and here he does and goes out and takes out the super prospect in Aaron Pico, and people are already saying this is the worst case scenario for Bellator. Pico's 20 years old, Duane. I'm not really so sure this was necessarily a bad thing. He might even come back even better after this.
One thing I did want to say, anybody who didn't watch the post-fight press conference, my man James Lynch got a shout out from Zach Freeman too. I always say about it's how you lose that matters. You look at Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, right? The tale of two different reactions. Conor, Ronda hit her face and ran away. Conor took the shower, washed the blood off, put the suit on, faced the media. Tonight, Aaron Pico took the Conor route. Yep. He went back, put a suit on, answered the questions poised like a man ahead of his years, and that gives me hope that we are going to see. We may not start tonight, but we're going to see something. We're going to see this Aaron Pico that people have promised. I think it's coming.
Yeah, and you could read Pico's lips after that fight. He went straight to his corner. He just kept saying, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." He immediately felt like he let them down. And James, you made a great point, and I was glad you said that. Pico doesn't suddenly suck, guys. Like, his credentials that we have been talking about the whole way don't disappear because he just got beat. He got caught with a vicious uppercut and choked out by a dude who is way more experienced, and who Freeman himself deserves all the credit for not being consumed by the moment as well. He looked like a guy who was used to that stage, cool, calm, deadpan and everything all week. Freeman was definitely ready, but Pico, I'm still personally very excited about Aaron Pico, and I just hope that everybody else is too. He did get beat, but like Bo said, he took the Conor out, cleaned up, put a suit on, answered all the questions, and this is a kid who's been an athletic beast his entire life. There's no doubt he's going to keep growing and bounce back from this.
And someone who had a good night was Heather Hardy, coming out there and obviously having a stoppage victory in the 3rd round against Alice Jagger in her professional MMA debut. How big was this, Bo, just with the fact she's from New York? And Coker alluded to it tonight. We're going to see more boxers potentially make that jump to MMA.
I'll tell you what, Heather Hardy was 2 minutes away from having a lackluster debut and it being a totally different story. But when she got that accidental headbutt and got cut open, it not only unleashed a bucket of blood, but a beast inside of her. She came out and put a dominant finish on a fight that really wasn't going all that great for me. I mean, her hands didn't look like I thought they were going to look, but man, once she got into that mode, the lioness came out. I mean, yeah. Do you feel the same way I did?
Yeah, it took her a while to sort of pull the trigger in the fight, and I think that's something that people were expecting. They wanted that 1st round knockout. It didn't come. You're right, though. Her getting the late finish, her getting the finish period, that sort of saved her night. And again, it looks good on the promotion for bringing her over and doing that co-promotion with Lou DiBella.
Right. And I'll put it this way. I was sitting next to Duane during the fight, and I said, man, if you didn't know better just after the 1st round, you wouldn't know which of those two girls was the world champion boxer. Yeah. Heather Hardy really did not come out looking super crisp, super fast like I expected. But then, exactly like you said, man, once she got that cut, and she said it herself in the post-fight scrum that you got, I thought I was close to having that moment taken away from me because of a cut, and that just lit the fire, and she knew she had to turn it on, and my God, did she turn it on. After she smelled that blood, that was vicious, man. There's not many women in the sport of MMA that can finish like that. As you know, the women typically don't quite hit as hard, but Heather Hardy turned that on, and it was a little ferocious. But I'm gonna segue into the next one, because this guy, we spent long enough not talking about Douglas Lima. Can we please get Douglas Lima some love?
I was talking about him. I was talking about him forever.
On this post-fight show.
Oh yeah, that's all we should talk about. And we have a great interview coming up, so check that out. But and Douglas even said, when we were speaking with him, candidly, he's like, you guys have given me love. He's like, but tonight was about earning a bigger conversation, and he did.
Yeah, he did. And surprisingly, I don't know if you guys knew this, Lima was the underdog tonight on the betting odds. And the fact this is a champion, a guy who's lost once, in the last, I don't know how many years, with Tekreshkov, a fight that he was clearly, he had an injury going into, to go out there and beat a UFC veteran, Lorenz Larkin. This puts him on the map as one of the top welterweights, not just in obviously Bellator, but in the welterweight division in general.
Absolutely, and I think it's deservedly so. One more thing we want to hit on, because it seems like a whole night of prospects, but James Gallagher, right?
Yeah.
You know, we talked to Scott in the post-fight press conference about it. This kid called his shot, stepped up in the moment, did the damn thing. But just like Lima needed a dangerous opponent and a big top-ranked guy, Gallagher needed at this point in his career a name, and it isn't Lyoto Machida, but he dominated him and put him away quick, and now he's on to the next one. And there's bright things. I know you talked to AJ McKee a lot. You know, McKee's out there for him. You know, there's a Pico rivalry brewing. There's a lot of things that James can do, and it's just going to be exciting to watch. But we're talking about 7, 8 angles coming off one card. That's all Bellator. That's what I'm telling you, folks, and we've been telling you at FloCombat for a long time. We didn't just show up here to cover a big fight the way a lot of other sites did, and I'm just calling it what it is. We've been doing Bellator since FloCombat launched in last April, and it's only going to get more.
Yeah, absolutely. Other things we got to hit on. Ryan Bader, you did a great interview with him beforehand. He goes out there, wins his first title in his Bellator debut. He never got a UFC title shot. You know, how good is this for the division? Just because now it's got even more parity than it had before.
Oh, absolutely. You know, they could run it back with Davis. You got King Mo, Vassell. Yeah, absolutely. So you know, it's a great thing. It wasn't the most exciting fight, but that doesn't matter. It was a night full of awesomeness. So you're allowed one or two things. But what I want to touch on before we wrap this up is I want to talk about the week we've had here, man. Yeah. Like, if you look at FloCombat tonight, James Lynch was in the back, Hunter and I were up front of the house. James had all those interviews brought up to you guys, lightning quick, got them up, and covered it from top to bottom. And then post-fight, we got a bunch of exclusives after. I mean, it's been great covering this here with you guys for the week, man. And I really think FloCombat as a whole, we're making, you know, we've stuck to our vision the entire time, and it just gets more clear every month that goes by.
Yeah, I agree, and just to kind of echo that, you know, it was so much fun getting to cover this with you guys. But Bellator as well, you know, they treated us great. We got lots of really good access. This felt like a big name event, and it feels like we were treated like first class. So, you know, props to the promotion.
It did, man, and not just, you know, we're not just trying to give ourselves love here. The greater point is, this was a Bellator card that had so many angles to explore. You know, we're banging out content because you have to cover so many aspects of that card. It would be remiss not to talk about Heather Hardy or James Gallagher. Like, there's not a whole lot of UFC cards these days where you feel obligated to cover people on the prelims, but that's exactly what happened with this Bellator card. And then the main card, of course, can't let any of those go. You know, I want to name our personal favorite moment just for something a little different. James, lead us off. What was your favorite part the whole week? Not just the event, the whole week. It could be something from the event, though. I'm
going to take something from the event. Mitrione knocking out Fedor. I mean, just the fact we had a double knockdown, and then Mitrione gets up, and, you know, what a redemption for him, someone who's had lapses. We talked about this all week, going out there and knocking out the legend and Fedor as quickly as he did. I mean, that was incredible.
My favorite moment was the FloCombat Fan Fest. Yet again, we have another turnout, amazing turnout. Fans, industries, people, just to feel that joy that we bring to this sport, to our jobs, and it's contagious, and people are getting it more and more each day. The love for FloCombat grows, and it's just great when we're out here away from our families that we get to share it with other people who love this as much as we do.
Yeah, for sure. Hunter, sort of just, you know, your thoughts overall on the week and everything. I mean, it just seemed like everything sort of clicked from, you know, Wednesday till, you know, today, late tonight.
Yeah, it did. And I mean, that's, like you said, a credit to Bellator's PR. You got to give them a shout out because, as anybody who covers the sport knows, you can't get good access, you can't produce good content if they're not helping you out. You know, it was a great team effort, and Bellator, this was their largest event ever, for sure, and they were not stricken by the moment. They were completely up to task. They never felt overwhelmed. It never felt like, they're not getting us what we need. Man, all the love goes out to Bellator for the way they handled this, and at the week as a whole, you know, we were here for 205, and now we're here for this. It's kind of special being able to cover fights at MSG. There's a certain buzz about that arena for sure. I actually didn't get to go inside for UFC 205, so that was awesome for me to be here for Bellator. And man, like you said, I don't want to piggyback on your best moment, but Fedor and Mitrione, before the fight started, I felt like nervous, like I was about to fight, like the hype was legitimately getting to me. The crowd was loving it. You know, the crowd, I would say, popped most for Fedor than anybody on the card, it felt like. You know, it just got extra rowdy for him. And his walkout, it was that sullen, mysterious Fedor, perfect mystique. And then the double knockdown was just like, I had a heart attack on press row, man, yeah.
But see, but that's different for me. I mean, because you know, it's no secret. Like Mitch Rione's a close friend of mine. You know, we've spent holidays together at different times. You know, I've known him for a long time, so I have to stay impartial in a sense. But he's still watching your friend go out there and do it. But was I convinced that he was going to beat Fedor? No. I mean, I knew it was possible, but I could see it going one any way. But yeah, that double knockdown, woof, that'd have been crazy and sick. But you know, when you see in this exclusive that we did with Meathead, you'll understand what he's saying about how things move forward after this weekend, and I absolutely cannot wait.
And well, I know we're trying to wrap this up, but we didn't talk about Brent Primus at all, did we?
No, we didn't. Brent Primus, yeah, and again, just shows you how stacked this card is. Brent Primus getting the title there. You know, I agree with him. People are going to disagree with me saying this. He injured Chandler, in my opinion. I thought he, you know, those leg kicks didn't just come from, you know, Chandler himself. It was Primus, you know, inflicting damage. So we got to give him a bit of credit here, and you know, going out there and defying the odds, because again, he's another guy that no one gave any credit for, and he went out there and did the impossible.
And I'll tell you what, on my Good, Bad, and Strange article that's out, you know, it was difficult to find bad for today, but I want to be clear because I did put that fight in the bad, and what I meant by that wasn't the quality of it, was how anticlimactic it was, because Brent Primus won and he's not treated that way, and for a champion to lose his title based on an injury, that sucks. I mean, we're gonna run it back, but of all the great things that happened, I was like, man, I want to feel happy for Brent, but now he won't get the credibility. We're already seeing it. It's all over Twitter. It's all over Reddit. Like. And he's already dressing the haters. So, you know, good attention. He gets to go home with that belt. But yeah, I agree with James that Chandler's foot didn't hurt itself.
Right. Yeah, exactly. We got to give the guy credit.
In a weird way, that felt like the perfect ending to me. Not, as Bo said, you know, it is bad in that regard, but for the rematch. I mean, what better way to set up a rematch? Because Primus actually looked really good even before the injury. You know, you could tell he's on Chandler's level. You know, that was a way more competitive fight than a lot of people thought, and it now has me more excited for the rematch, because I'm like, I want to see some more of what Primus actually had before the injury, because like you said, I'm not sure that he didn't earn a legitimate stoppage there. So it's just a more interesting fight the second time around.
But didn't we cover that on the previous show? I think we got that right. I said, you know, that if there was if there was something that could go, if there was one underdog or one strange thing to turn it was going to be that one, or potentially that one, because of the size difference. And you know what, boys, I think, you know, I think we got it right. You know, I think it was a great week, crazy week. You know what's funny? What Hunter mentioned 205 last time. Well, back in November, after we would already be on our way out of here, because the city started to turn on us, because the negativity that this place could get, it started getting to us. This time we stayed positive. FloCombat 1, NYC 0. We're on top.